Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about an update on the hurricane season for the Atlantic and some of the Western Pacific and something called Jobo, which is a storm in the Indian Ocean, I do believe. Now, this is surrogate right now. We can see general weakening and pretty rapid weakening over the surrogate where it went, but we can see it's going over pretty cold water temperatures and has made a dent in water temperatures where it has gone and where it was a super typhoon and when it was going extremely slow. Now we can see major weakening compared to last time, and the other weather nerd satellite we can see of the Atlantic, nothing going on, pretty quiet, really nothing. I mean, convection popping up in the Eastern Pacific and in the Atlantic Ocean, nothing really happening. There was a cold front stuck over Florida. It has now moved up here, and there has been a convection burst over Africa. That will not be a worry because it is not hurricane season and environment is very unfavorable. Now, current storms, surrogate, we can see as weakened to 80 knots, and it has been weakening very rapidly. And in the models, we can see it is gonna weaken very rapidly. Will continue to weaken very rapidly. And we can see new storm, Jobo, in the Indian Ocean, and it is heading towards Africa, but it has weakened just a tiny bit, a good bit, because it used to be 85 knots wind speed, and it is now 40 knots. It is a weak tropical cyclone, and with a pressure of 1,005 millibars, this will not be much of an impact to Africa wind speed wise. This may drop a little bit of rain and may cause a little bit flooding, but that is really all the impacts with the storm. They really dodged a bullet because we were expecting landfall at one point at 95 knots, which would have been pretty bad. Now, we can see the Nino 3.4 region on the Atlantic side of things. We can see a little bit of a rise in the ocean sea surface temperatures. It used to be negative 0.217, and the latest value as of 12Z April 22nd is negative 0.221. This will be a slight warming, but this is what has been going on, bumps, but we are going to trend downwards as we go throughout and really get to the heart of the hurricane season, and the shear will start to move out, which would cause storms to form, and it depends on when these things happen because we could have a pretty strong storm this year, and we could have an early start if it just depends on when this happens. Now, as we go to the temperature anomaly compared to the global mean, this really enhances the cold. So this is one I just want to look at. The Nino 3.4 region is looking pretty cold, looking like a neutral about, because remember, this enhances the cold. We can see the MDR, compared to the mean. We're not really going to look at this one. We're going to look at compared to the 7-day average. Off the coast of South America, we can see a little bit of warming over the past 7 days, and in the Eastern Pacific, about neutral. And in the Gulf, half, warming right here, cooling right there. And especially the Florida and the Bahamas area, they will be getting pretty warm, and in the subtropics, and a little bit MDR, like right there, pretty fast warming there. Now we can see the temperature anomaly. This is the one we mainly look at for sea surface temperatures compared to the average. And we can see the Eastern Pacific, pretty warm overall. The Gulf, pretty warm. And let me circle the area that is pretty warm over average. So yeah, that area is pretty warm, but the most active part of the United States that will be impacted is this area. That will be the most active area because hurricanes could go like this, which will most likely happen, and they will come off and go like that and go through the middle, of course. Now, as we move on to the next image, we can see the actual sea surface temperatures in Celsius. Now we can see in the Indian Ocean, always warm as usual, widespread 30 degrees Celsius. And we can see in the Atlantic, in the tropics, a widespread 28, 27 degrees Celsius. We can see a lot of 27s in there if we zoomed in on the image. Now, we can see in the Gulf, warmer than average, favorable conditions spread pretty far into the Gulf and is swallowing the Gulf right now. And once that becomes warm, that will be very favorable once the shears move out of the Gulf, once the shear moves out of the Gulf. And we can see the actual Gulf temperatures. This is the favorable area, so a good bit of the Gulf is in this very favorable area here. And this will be causing maybe early named storms to come through here and weaken before it hits the coast. But named storms. And yeah, we are going to look at the models now. So let's go ahead and go to the Atlantic. There we go. Okay, so let's look at the wind shear outlook. So as we move it out here, we can see this is the main reason why hurricanes are forming. If no shear was here and it was very moist over the Atlantic, it would be insanely active, like hurricanes left and right. But high pressure right here. In the main hurricane season, a high pressure will be right here, and that will be steering storms like that. So high pressure, its arms reach out. So storms will mainly go like that, especially when the high pressure is down here. It'll go like that, because sometimes the high pressure may go down here, and then it may move back up here. And then when the high pressure is all the way out here, that's when the storms really curve off to sea and don't impact any land, which is very good. But if we move it out to the end of model, I know very far out. But let's see what the shear could look like. As we saw with the GFS model during Surrogate, we saw everybody was laughing at the GFS, there's no way this is gonna happen. And then Surrogate became a very strong typhoon, a super typhoon with nearly 100. I forgot, maybe even 200 mile per hour winds and a pressure of, I do believe it was 888. Please fact check me on that in the comments. But let's go to the end of the model and look. This is what we're talking about. See, the shear is really moving out, and we can see shear favorable places, right here, especially the main development region and a little bit of these areas. Now, really, once this becomes like main hurricane season, this shear will be cut off like this. There would be no shear, little to no shear in this area, and it would be only right there, and hurricanes would be coming through here during the main hurricane season if it would be a hyperactive season. But yeah, that's really it for today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!